There's a reason two Grand Cherokees can look identical on a dealer lot, yet one will bankrupt you and the other will outlive your next SUV. It comes down to model year. Here are the 5 Grand Cherokee years to stay away from, and the 5 worth every dollar. Number 5, 2005 Grand Cherokee. The start of the WK generation brought a fresh design and new features, but behind all of that sat a pile of first-year problems. The transmission became the biggest frustration right away. Owners reported delayed gear engagement when shifting into drive or reverse, especially after the vehicle sat overnight. Some Grand Cherokees refused to move for several seconds, and dealers kept telling owners this was normal. Chrysler released a technical service bulletin, but the fix only worked on some vehicles. Electrical issues hit hard on the 2005 model. The ignition switch became the target of multiple recalls after owners reported sudden engine shutdowns while driving. Dashboard gauges failed randomly, and warning lights flickered for no reason. Suspension wore out way too fast, with control arms and ball joints giving up well before 60,000 miles. Repair bills piled up on a vehicle that carried a premium price when new. And that was just the warm-up, because the problems got a whole lot worse in the next decade. Number 4, 2015 Grand Cherokee. You would think after the disasters before it, Jeep would have cleaned things up by now. Not even close. The 8-speed transmission kept jerking, hesitating, and confusing drivers with delayed power delivery every time they touched the gas pedal. The 3.6-liter Pentastar picked up lifter ticking, throttle body failures, and coolant leaking into places coolant should never reach. Pick the 3.0-liter EcoDiesel instead, and you got overheating from bad EGR coolers, plus Chrysler wrapped up in an $800 million emissions scandal tied directly to that engine. And something wild happened this year. The active headrests designed to protect you in a rear crash started deploying on their own during normal driving. Just cruising down the highway and boom, the headrest fires forward into the back of your head. 10 recalls and 1,270 NHTSA complaints by 2025 tell you everything about this model year. Average annual repair costs landed around $666, above the midsize SUV average, and that only covers routine work. The big transmission and engine bills that show up after the warranty expires stack on top. What came the year before somehow packed even more problems into a single model. Number 3, 2014 Grand Cherokee. If 2015 gave you headaches, 2014 gave you nightmares. 19 recalls. That is the highest count of any Grand Cherokee ever produced. 6 went after the electrical system, 4 targeted the engine, and the rest spread across brakes, steering, and safety components. No other model year even comes close to that number. The 8-speed automatic transmission became the main problem. Jerky shifts, dead spots when accelerating, random gear hunting in traffic, and in the worst cases, total transmission failure under 10,000 miles. Getting that repaired runs between $4,000 and $6,000. Then there was the gear shifter problem. The electronic monostable shifter confused drivers about whether the vehicle actually moved into park. Cars rolled away in driveways and parking lots. That design flaw contributed to the death of actor Anton Yelchin in 2016, crushed by his own rolling Grand Cherokee. Dashboard leather peeled off in sheets, trim pieces cracked within 2 years, and the Uconnect touchscreen delaminated until you could barely read it. On a vehicle people paid over $40,000 for, that kind of quality should make anyone furious. But even 2014 could not match what came 3 years earlier. Number 2, 2012 Grand Cherokee. Chrysler said they fixed things for 2012. The complaint numbers told a completely different story. 11 recalls, over 1,600 NHTSA complaints. More than 800 of those pointed straight at the electrical system. Engines cutting out at red lights, on the freeway, in parking garages, no warning, no pattern, just dead. And every time that engine stalled, power steering and brakes vanished with it. The same TIPM nightmare from 2011 followed right into 2012. Chrysler took until February 2015 to issue a recall, which means owners spent 3 full years paying for a defect the company already knew about. Oil leaks and rough idle stacked on top because the 3.6-liter Pentastar still carried first-year bugs. Every buying guide on the internet groups 2011 and 2012 together and says the same thing: walk away. That low price tag on a used 2012 pulls you in until you see what it actually costs to keep on the road. And if you think 2012 was bad, what took the number one spot will make your stomach drop. Worst number 1, 2011 Grand Cherokee. You know that friend who bought a car and spent more time at the shop than on the road? This is that car. The 2011 kicked off the 4th generation WK2, and Jeep rushed it out the door with a part inside that ruined everything. From 2010 to 2011, complaints about the engine refusing to start shot up 10 times over, and the cause behind almost every single failure traced back to one box called the Totally Integrated Power Module, the TIPM. This thing controls every electrical system in the vehicle, the ignition, fuel pump, safety features, all of it. When it dies, and on 2011 models it died all the time, your Grand Cherokee turns into a very expensive lawn ornament. People reported stalling on the highway at full speed, losing power steering and brakes at the same time, and mornings where the key did absolutely nothing. Replacement TIPMs went on national backorder. You could not even buy one, and replacing it cost $1,100 to $1,200 just for the part. That whole disaster blew up into a class action lawsuit covering over 500,000 vehicles. Add in 1,622 NHTSA complaints, brake booster rust, sun visor wiring fires, and air suspension that sagged every night, and you get the single worst Grand Cherokee ever made. 5 money pits identified. Now for the Grand Cherokee years that earn their name for actually lasting. If this is saving you real money, hit that subscribe button so you never end up with the wrong one. Best number 5, 1998 Grand Cherokee. Everything complicated about the bad years on this list, the 1998 has none of it. End of the ZJ generation, and under the hood sits the 4.0-liter inline-6 AMC engine, one of the most overbuilt motors ever dropped into an SUV. No turbo, no direct injection, no fancy electronics trying to squeeze out extra power. Just a straight 6 that owners regularly run past 250,000 miles on oil changes and basic care. Solid front and rear axles gave this thing real off-road toughness that newer setups still struggle to match on hard trails. The Quadra-Track 4-wheel drive system works with zero drama. Aftermarket parts flood the market, and NHTSA records show the 1998 with one of the lowest complaint counts across every Grand Cherokee ever built. Only catch? Age. 27 years means you check for rust, tired bushings, and old cooling hoses. But find a clean one with receipts, and this truck will outlive SUVs that cost 5 times more. Jeep managed to build something nearly as tough just a few years later. Best number 4, 2003 Grand Cherokee. By 2003, every weak spot in the WJ generation had been found and sorted out. What you get is a mature platform with no surprises left. The 4.7-liter V8 brought solid power for both highway cruising and trail work without giving up long-term durability. Quadra-drive traction handled everything from mud to snow, and owner databases ranked the 2003 in the top 3 across the entire Grand Cherokee history for fewest complaints. Electrical systems stayed simple enough that any backyard mechanic can figure out whatever comes up. Parts cost less, independent shops love working on them, and the build quality by this point tightened up across every panel and seam. Want the toughness of a real Jeep without modern headaches? Grab a 2003 with service records and a clean frame, and you own something that goes the distance while newer models collect dust at the dealer. The 3rd generation managed to close out even stronger than the 2nd. Best number 3, 2010 Grand Cherokee. Last year of the WK generation, and every lesson Jeep learned between 2005 and 2010 went straight into this model. NHTSA complaint records put 2010 among the quietest years in the entire lineup. The 5.7-liter Hemi V8 pumped out real power with a track record to back it up, and the standard V6 handled daily commutes without the transmission games that destroyed later models. Suspension held up, steering stayed tight, the body-on-frame build soaked up off-road abuse, and the infotainment stayed basic enough to actually work without freezing every other week. Used prices make this year a steal, real capability at a fraction of newer Grand Cherokee costs, and zero TIPM roulette. Going from 2010 to 2011 marked one of the biggest quality drops in this vehicle's history, which tells you exactly how good the final WK year turned out. Best number 2, 2017 Grand Cherokee. 6 years. That is how long it took Jeep to finally get the WK2 right. Every recall from 2011 through 2015 had been dealt with by this point. The 3.6-liter Pentastar stopped leaking oil, stopped ticking, stopped acting up. The 8-speed transmission shifted smoothly for the first time since Jeep started using it. TIPM failures dropped to near zero. The Uconnect screen stopped crashing, and the driver assist features actually worked the way they were supposed to. The 2017 refresh added fresh styling, standard backup camera on every trim, rear parking sensors, and the Trailhawk package loaded with skid plates and an electronic rear differential for serious trail use. Owner satisfaction jumped, complaint numbers fell, and every reliability source puts 2017 at the top of the WK2 run. Modern comfort, real off-road ability, and a powertrain you can actually trust. And the single best Grand Cherokee ever built took everything 2017 started and finished the job. Best number 1, 2019 Grand Cherokee. Ask a Jeep mechanic which Grand Cherokee they would spend their own money on, and this year comes up every single time. J.D. Power rated the 2019 right at the top of the pack. Owner surveys back it up across every database that tracks these things. The 3.6-liter Pentastar ran its cleanest and most efficient tune yet. The 5.7-liter Hemi stayed available for anyone wanting more muscle, and both paired with an 8-speed that finally behaved the way a proper transmission should. No harsh shifts, no hesitation, no ghost electrical problems. Uconnect ran smoothly, safety tech worked without glitches, and build quality on paint, interior materials, and panel fit reached the highest mark for the entire WK2 generation. Spending between $25,000 and $45,000 on a used 2019 puts you in a vehicle with modern tech, real trail ability, and the kind of ownership confidence that early WK2 buyers never got. First-year redesigns carry the highest risk across every generation. Models built late in a production run, after Jeep spent years sorting out mistakes, always deliver the best experience. Stay away from 2005, 2011, 2012, 2014, and 2015. Focus on 1998, 2003, 2010, 2017, and 2019 for the best combination of durability and value. Pick the right year and a Grand Cherokee pushes past 200,000 miles. Pick the wrong one and you are underwater before 50,000. Some years steal your money, others earn your trust. If one shocked you, tell us below. And if you want the next breakdown before you buy anything else, tap the subscribe button now. See you in the next one.